Here we are. So we're live. And I want to welcome all the beautiful souls to Soul Awakening Conversations Emerge and Flow. I'm so grateful that you're here today. We are going to have a beautiful conversation with Reverend, I like to say that, Erin Reeves, whose gifts ripple through our world.
Thank you.
You may not know her name precisely, but her gifts ripple through her world. So when you feel them, when you feel that shiver run up your spine, that's her. Okay? She is a shaman. She is a quantum communicator, and she is a guide in ceremonial practices. Okay? She moves between the seen and the unseen. Hold on a second. Why am I having? Hold on. I think that's because I had my phone there. She moves between the seen and the unseen. She's holding space for transformation, even when you don't think she's holding space for you. She's deep into her energetic flow, and she shares it with you. So together, let's explore her journey and how she brings it into our community, into her community, and how her ways bring presence and guidance into a new way of learning how to be you. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. She's not telling you she did it and therefore it's going to work for you. She's saying she did it, give it a try.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful to be on your podcast. It's been an exciting journey to get here. I've been anticipating it.
Yes, I have too. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And guys, we are live on YouTube and Facebook. And a second. I want to see if I can find my chat. So chat says hello. And you know what? I've got feedback. It might be just on my side. Are you hearing feedback at all?
I don't know. I'm good over here.
Then it's just me. So just slow it down. I don't know why it is. I'm using a new platform. Today is my first day using Restream and actually having my own logo on it.
That's
so it's oh, you're hearing feedback, Dwayne. I apologize for that. I really don't know why. I really don't know why it's working. Okay. I want you to introduce yourself how you see you.
All right. So I'm still learning how to speak about myself. That's actually one of the things I think I can help people with is learning how to be proud of themselves. So that's kind of a great introduction to me. So I am Reverend Erin Reeves. On Instagram and TikTok, I go by Atavis Reeves. Atavis is my chosen name. It came to me in meditation. We can get into that another time, another day. I am 31 years old and I have been walking this path for about 10 years. The past 5 years have really been the most transformative in the wildest of ways. And so I am here to act as a bridge between, like you were saying, Sandra, between this and the next. And I like to live in that liminal space. There is untapped potential in those in-between spaces, and I'm here to help you navigate that. That's kind of what I've figured out my superpower is. I'm not here to teach you per se. I'm not here to, like you said, promise any kind of result, but I'm here to show you and embody being an example that you're worth fighting for you. End of story. And it took my own fight to get here, but I am ecstatic to be able to share what I know. and help my fellow human.
And I'm so thankful and grateful that you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I met Erin on TikTok. Okay, that's where it's from. And I'm going to say she blew me away. I don't think she knew she blew me away. But when she would say, hello, love, hello, my love, right? When she would say that, I'm sorry, I really have this echo. Give me 1 second. I've got to figure out what it is. Let's see if it's, do I have 2 speakers on? It's an HD. No, that's real time. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. I'm trying to see what it's trying to tell me.
No worries.
I thought I had my speakers set up, guys. You know, I thought I was a super smooth. Hello. That's not it.
No, actually, I think I can hear the reverberation now.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear it now?
No.
No? Okay, it's only on my side. It's only on my side. Put your headphones on. I don't think my headphones are. Hold on a second. I must have 2.
Oh yeah.
Can you hear me?
Now you're cutting out a little bit. I'm only
Now
getting bits and pieces.
Okay. Hold on.
Should we hop out and try to reload, or would that mess up the stream?
Hold on. Hey, you know, first time. It worked fine when I was
we got almost 10
testing.
minutes in.
Hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
There was no interruption. Okay, there we go. That seems better.
Okay, let's see if that works. So I have,
Sounds good.
It's like after I talk, there's another one, but.
Oh yeah, there. It's like it takes a minute.
Yeah. Hold on a second. What is going on? Talk to me, computer. Talk to me. I've got this. You think I've got this, Olivia. Can you hear me at all?
I can hear you.
But it's still echoing. Communicate.
No, that was bad.
That was bad. Okay. Really? I really don't know what it is. All right. I'm just going to, if you hear me stop, it's because I hear myself, and then I'm going to take a pause and then ask you the questions.
Sure.
So, you know, guys.
As many pauses as we need.
As many pauses as we need. All right. So here's the first question. There is a word that you mentioned in your bio, your Instagram bio. Yes. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I'm going to say it. Okay. I would pronounce it calm mater. Okay. And I need that. For you.
Sure. So, and I'm not sure of the exact pronunciation either, to be honest. To me, I say co-mater, but how you said it sounds correct as well. So like, to each their own, honestly, in my opinion. But that's actually kind of what co-mater is to me. So going along with how I'm not here strictly to teach, to sell a spiritual way or anything like that, co-mater is ancient Latin for co-mother. So I am here as a creator to walk with you while you co-create, to kind of help you figure out how to create your own reality. So I am a quantum co-mother.
Quantum co-mother. I love that. Okay. So as a co-mother,
Mhm.
as a quantum co-mother, a reverend, a ritualist, and a shaman,
Mhm.
you hold a place across many dimensions. Now, I know a lot of people listen to that word dimension and sometimes they get stuck because they're going, what are you talking about, dimensions? I'm just talking about the energy that we move through continuously. Every time we step through a door or take a move, we're moving through a portal of energy.
Right.
Okay. So when I'm asking her this question and I use the word dimensions,
Mhm.
you step into what might be a sacred role of frequency and energy.
Mhm.
Are you most often inviting your community with you? It seems like you're inviting your community with you as you go. Was that an intention that you set when you first started to serve others?
No, not exactly. I became a reverend before I really understood my role um, in this path that I'm on now. I hadn't reached all of the levels of shamanic experience when I became a reverend. And so with co-mater and the frequency that I hold, so when people hear dimensions, like you said, sometimes they get a little lost in the sauce. So an easy way to think of dimension is just layers. There are layers to our reality, like layers to our energy. And
Right.
so when I'm in my role in space as co-mater alongside whomever, what I'm really doing is kind of the opposite. I'm not providing an energy per se. I am holding my energy firm while not projecting and while creating this almost quantum 0 point void, for lack of a better phrase, for whomever's right next to me or involved to fill their frequency with that space, into that space, and learn how to take up space, really. And so I'm not bringing my community into a specific frequency where I'm just holding mine and allowing them to explore their frequencies in a safe space. And so that's where I guess you could consider it sacred, but I feel that it's more of an authentic energy than it is a title energy. So when as I have the title reverend or co-mater, those are just titles. Now, I don't, it's kind of funny. I'm still getting to know me as a reverend, if that makes sense,
Mhm.
as opposed to a person with life experience. And so
Right.
to me, it's not so much creating a sacred space as I'm just holding space. I am holding a potential, a void. And so then I act like a mirror. So if anything, if I had to quantify it, my apologies, the frequency vibration would just be that of authenticity, of non-projection,
Right.
exploration.
Oh, I love that. You know, somebody just told me use an earpiece. I have no earpiece. I have no headphones for
I don't do it.
my desktop. I really don't, guys. So if you're getting feedback, I apologize. This is my first time on Restream doing this. So the intention is given with love to do this,
Mhm.
but it worked fine in practice for me. Who knows with what's going on. Okay, so so then that word sacred,
Mhm.
I had the same problem with that label sacred as well. because when I go to church, they threw it around,
Right.
you know, and to me, it's the same way that I see God, the word God, the label God. It got thrown around so much. God, He, God, Him, God, you know, that it kind of touched me. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's valid. Yeah, completely. Yeah, I've gone through
And
that as well.
yeah, so when I saw when I used that word in question, it didn't feel good to me, but it was what I was noticing other people were
Right.
in the spiritual community were flowing with, right? So I thank you very much for, you know, going, you know, it's about the frequency, you know. Yeah, okay, so that's great. So you walk the path of ritual, okay? In the shamanic journey, right? And or in the shamanic journey and the quantum communication, right? When I notice when I'm doing that, and I use, I hear people talk about ritual, it's scary for them.
It can be. The word,
Right.
for sure.
You know, it's when you grew up in the Baptist background or whatnot, and somebody says ritual, you think witch, you think demonic, you think, how do you express that in your journey?
So that's actually, I'm so glad you asked that, because that is a great question that has the most logical application that kind of silences all of the spiritual fluff that gets pushed around. So we all, for people who have, say, like a 9 to 5, right? You set your alarm to wake up at a certain time. You have your morning that you do whatever in schedule. So like you wake up, you shower, brush your teeth, get dressed, what have you. That's a ritual. That's something you do the same way every day. The way you make your coffee is a ritual. So these things that you do habitually can actually be considered ritualistic because that's how you're doing it. That's the act, the intention behind it. So we're kind of taking back the word ritual in that way and demystifying it. So ritual doesn't have to have anything to do with anything spiritual, religious, supernatural. It's just something that you do that works for you, that brings you whatever intended outcome. So, for example, like myself, I'm a coffee drinker. And every morning, right, what I do is I have to have my cup of coffee. I go outside to my backyard, I refill my bird feeder, give them fresh water, and then I sit for about an hour sipping my coffee, sitting with the birds. That just sounds like somebody sitting in their backyard in the morning, but that's a ritual. And so
That's the same thing for me as well. I do all the things I need to do in the morning. I get up, I take my meditational bath if I feel called, and then I walk my dog, and then I feed him. He's all taken care of. Now I can have my coffee, and then I have a spiritual playlist. When I say spiritual, it's a combination of music that touches my soul. It doesn't have to be religious or anything. And I sit there. It just resonates with the patio door open and the breeze coming in and that whole kind of thing. Yes, and I do it pretty much every day. Maybe not in the exact same, but every day I fulfill all of those. That's very ritualistic.
Exactly.
Right?
And so that's, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and that's part of what I feel that I'm able to help bring to people is that awareness that ritual doesn't have to be super flaus, that it is something that can happen every day. And then that there helps bring you into the present because now you're more focused on that.
So, yeah. So the second half of that question is, what awakened in you that bridged you into into the realms that called you. I don't know, I could be wrong. I feel that you were very called
I would agree with
in
that.
from the inside, that you were very pulled and called. What can you share with us what that was?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a process. I'm still, like I said, where I'm still trying to reconcile with being a sacred voice or something of that nature. Centering myself in my own life has been its own journey. And learning that that's okay to be the center of your own life. That's one of the things that kind of helped me. That I think that was the calling, because I grew up in a very sheltered environment, in a not so in an environment that was not very conducive to growth. And so let's see. I think I'm getting sidetracked. So
It's okay.
yeah,
It's
brain fog is
okay.
hitting me right now.
Take it wherever it wants to go.
And it derailed. That was the problem. So
it took you to an emotion. I could feel it.
Yeah. And so I think I'm getting back to where it was. So essentially, I had experienced so many things in my life by the time I was 25, by the time I was 30, that I had to, the calling that you see, the calling that I felt was I had to make my suffering worth something. I am a huge believer that nobody, nothing deserves to suffer for no purpose.
Right.
What I went through in retrospect seemed like suffering for no purpose, so I had to give it a purpose. And that purpose is to be that embodied voice, to say that even if you're dealing with whatever, no matter what you've come through, what you've come from, you can still be there for you. You still deserve to be happy, to have a life, regardless of what you've had. You deserve to figure out how to find what you want and deserve in that way, even as simplistically as just finding happiness. You still deserve that. And that's the calling I think I felt, is too many people are suffering for nothing. And now we need to find purpose for that. But yeah, that it's a long story and journey, but I am grateful for what I've been able to learn.
But you gave us the short version, so that's good. That worked. You know, that I still get, I have these little goosebumps here because I can feel it, you know. Now here we go. You need to ask me a question.
Okay. How has your lived experience shaped your spiritual journey outside of just this podcast? I assume it's similar from what we've spoken briefly about to my story, in that you want to bring awareness to others. And so I would love to hear how your personal experience has created this space for you to thrive in this way and to offer this podcast to people.
That would take a whole podcast. Let me say hello to Casey. I'm glad you made it. She calls me Mama.
Oh, love that.
I am her mother. She is my daughter from another mother.
Love that.
And Dwayne says, yes, we all do. I am happy you are able to understand who you are.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And that's the same thing. I was given, I believe, I will start this way. I believe that my mother was a spiritual being that wanted to have me, or have a taste of motherhood. And she was my spiritual guide. She was my spiritual being. And the first thing that I dived into, even at a very young age, was the question of religion. I was accepted when it didn't feel right, when, you know, and I'll just give the Adam and Eve story. I was going, what? Huh? Show me. And she was that driving force that said, go ask. Keep asking. Okay. And I just, every time I had a what now or what more, or that didn't seem right, And I was driving the adults crazy. You know, what do you call it? The Sunday school teachers and the pastors and everything. And they was just, you know, they write a note when I went home, take this to your mom.
Right.
And she'd open it and she'd say, okay, what question did you ask now?
Exactly.
Right.
Love
She
that,
would
though.
just, you know, bow her head, and I would tell her if she had an answer, she would sit down and talk with me. But there were things that she couldn't answer, and she said, well, they should be able to answer that for you. They should be able to have a talk. Whether I was 6 or 16, that's how she felt.
That's awesome.
So I have always been asking that question.
Right.
How I got to here now is that, but that same set of questions, every time life changed for me, whether it's a negative or whether it was a positive, I would always ask, what now? And it would transition me. So, you know, we kind of fast forward from, you know, 16 through all of that young age, about my 30s, when I was finding, and I'll do the air quotes, quote unquote, born again, becoming a born again Christian, rededicating my life to Christ and everything, trying to find how to fit in with everybody who looked like they were having a, they found what they had and they were happy.
Yeah.
Okay. Just that part. Not that they were, but just that part. So it was non-denominational church. Oh, that's got to be a good thing. Okay, I'm going to learn something from this. And what I learned when I started doing it, where I thought I was serving, I started to, that question started to rise up again. Well, I don't feel comfortable. Because I'm telling people, and literally this is how I felt. Every time I would come up with somebody, this is the question that I would ask. I would say, is Jesus your Lord and Savior? Just really that aggressive, which is not me, you know, but do you believe on the blood of Jesus? Well, if you don't, you're going to go to hell. And it started to just, the resignation of that felt so bad in me. I started to say, what if that was me on the other end of that?
That's a great perspective.
Right? And that's when I started to ask, how do I really want to serve people? How do I really want to serve the other versions of me that are the consciousness of the Creator? Because that's what I am, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of started it. I mean, the Instagram and all of that, that was just learning periods where somebody said, you know, you talk so much about the law of attraction. You talk about this. I love how you talk. You know, you need to have your own Instagram page. And that's how I opened up. You know,
you kind of fell into it in the best way. Your calling found you.
Yeah, my calling found me. Oh, thank you so much. I know you can't see I wonder if I can, let's see what happens. We're going to test, guys. If I show it on screen, if it pushes my guest out of the way.
Moved me over a little bit.
It moved me over. You're closer to me. Can you see the comments now?
I can now. It's just little writing, but that's okay. But yeah, okay. I can see them a little bit. So if I'm all squinty, that's why.
Yeah. So Olivia keeps telling me, this girl, keep going. So I'm gonna keep going because the feedback is making me a little nervous, but you know, it's okay. We got this.
Whatever.
So anyway, I'm just trying but for me now, what I've learned is it's not picture perfect. I'm not. Right. I used to try to, you know, go, okay, this has to be picture perfect because I'm representing the Creator. And for me, serving others, knowing that I'm already been served, you know. So that's how I got to where I am now. As long as I'm serving others, I'm taken care of, you know.
That's awesome.
Just like what I went through with my health, and I had to take off really some time from Instagram and
Right.
go, okay, now I'm going to start over.
Mhm.
But I had to do it because I was learning about my health,
Mhm.
my well-being, how I'm merging modern medicine and holistic medicine, and how I'm going to show people that they can do both, and then decide which one they want.
Absolutely. That's
Right?
something my health has helped me discover as well. The
Yeah.
balance between the two.
So the time I took off Instagram was worth it, because the divine says, you want to show people how to do this,
Mhm.
well, then you have to, what better than finding out how to put your body back into that state. You know,
Exactly.
I went through my surgery. They took the lump out.
Mhm.
They asked me if I wanted radiation treatments. I did that. Yeah, I told them, yeah, I've been there, done that before.
Right.
Yes, I do want it. But this time, Erin, I learned how to maneuver that energy that was coming from that machine. It's
That's
like 20
incredible.
years ago, Erin, I did it before, and the machine was like, it was, new for that particular time. But modern medicine has increased. It's gotten better. It's all these people in the medical industry, they're not bad people. Not all of them are bad
No.
people. They um, decided that they wanted to help others, through things that they created, and methods and methodology that they utilized. This machine that I was about to sit under was
Right.
delivering some frequency or energy, and I was able to maneuver. So, oh, I'm an alchemist.
Yes.
Well, how do I teach other people how to be an alchemist if I don't know how to do it myself?
Exactly.
And that's where I'm at now.
I love that. And I love that you figured, like, I love that you were able to read the frequency from the machine and understand that you're able to interact with that. That is one of the I guess things I try to show people too, is that with the quantum nature of reality, we can interact in a non like mystic way, in a non-metaphysical way, but in a real way, like you just explained, because energy is measurable. And so the fact that you were able to interact with that in real time is fantastic. That's something I actually learned I could do with MRI machines as far as alchemy is concerned. But it took
Hold
me
on.
feeling, oh, go ahead.
Somebody gave me a suggestion. Turn down. Hold on. Okay. Turn down my speaker. Maybe that'll do it. Can you hear me better?
I think so.
Hold on. Can you guys hear me better? Did I turn it down too low?
I can hear you fine.
No, I don't think it. I don't think that. I think I turned you down. Hold on. Hold on a second. Okay. I don't know. Somebody gave me to turn down my mic. Let's see if. Guys, I'm not seeing where it's giving me a place to turn down my mic. I see where I can turn down my, but let me see. It doesn't give me a place to turn down my mic. Sorry, guys, it really doesn't give me a place to turn down my mic. So maybe if I sit back away from it, possibly. So anyway, it's the volume on your computer. Well, let's see. I see my speaker. I don't see anything. Hold on.
All the advances in technology, that technology still fails with seemingly simple things.
Yeah, it's guys, it's not showing me all my icons right now, and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to keep going. It's the first time, and all that I care is that you can hear my guest clearly. Okay. So, okay. Let's see. As someone who walks between the seen and the unseen, do you stay rooted in the human experience, kind of like in the everyday rhythm of life? While continuing to expand. Kind of like, for me, this is the question. For me, when I walk into a grocery store, I can already start feeling the vibe of the store, right? And when I'm standing in a line, there might be only two checkouts open, the lines are long, and you hear this vibration of people who are unhappy, they're blah, blah, blah. And I start humming to myself, or I would look at another cash thing and I would go, wouldn't it be nice if that was open, that one would open up? And then all of a sudden, that energy, the energy of that, there's a cashier walks over, turns on the light, and then, looks at me and goes, and I just go, kind of flow. Do you have that continually expansive movement in your life?
I do, and it can be overwhelming at times, and that's something I'm still in the process of learning, is how to remain grounded as best I can. That's where a lot of my like charging videos on TikTok come from. I'm usually barefoot in the grass with those. I've learned to ground in that way, as simply as putting your feet on the ground. It doesn't have to be grass. It can be concrete. It can be the bottom floor of your house, whatever. You're still technically touching earth, touching Gaia. And so with the intention of grounding, that's where that comes in. So I do, as much as I can remember, go out of my way to daily ground in that way. Now, I also kind of came up with a little mantra that I put in some of my TikTok videos to help me ground in those moments. And it's I am deeply grounded, rooted, and connected to Sister Gaia, or Mother Earth, at all times. And so in those moments in the grocery store where I can feel that hum and feel that buzz, when it becomes too much, I'll just say that in my head. Or I'll just kind of do one of the like psychological tools of finding the like things around you, like 3 things you can hear, see, smell, what have you, to help bring me out of my head and back into my body. But it is, for me at least, it is a very daily practice of that. Otherwise, I do have a tendency to stay more in my expanded self and not in my physical. So
yeah, I find when I was first doing, and this is without you even asking me a question, this is me answering this question that I just asked myself.
Sure.
I used to spend a lot of time thinking that I had to look for things to ground me, right? And they had to be things that I saw other people suggesting
Right.
on TikTok, on Instagram, and use this and say this and this herb will help you, and then going out and trying to find all these different things and getting myself really, agitated when I couldn't find exactly what they were saying I should use.
That's valid.
And one day I said, okay, I live in an apartment. I share this apartment. There's not, I don't have a room where I can have a meditational room that's dedicated to that, or or the meditational office room, or where I can video. I don't have. This is the things that I was saying. I don't have this, and I don't have that, and that kind of thing. Until one day, I was going to take a bath, and this voice, my inner voice, said, "Go get your candle." I said, I did that. I rolled side to side. You know what? Go get your candles. So I went and I got my candles out of a drawer that I had put away, because, oh my God, I'm never going to use them because I don't have a place to use them for. I don't have a dedicated place, right? So I went and got them. And then I heard this internal voice said, "You have your hands." And I just said, "They're yours." So the candles started being put in certain places. I started, the lighting and the ambiance in the bathroom started to transform into this vibrational meditational space. And then, the water, the voice inside me said, "What do you want to say to the water?" I said, "I want to say thank you for being living water."
Love that.
Right? Because everybody is talking about how messed up we've done Gaia. Right? And that when I got in the water, I swear to you, Erin, that meditation that I had, Gaia came to me and said, you human beings think that you can destroy me, but you can't.
Right.
I will be here long after humanity is finished with this world.
Yes.
I know how to transform. I know how to cleanse myself. Sometimes you feel that Earth is doing things to you, but you're just in my way, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I realized that I'm there in this intimate moment with the most precious consciousness ever. That even if I could never touch grass, if I walk on concrete, she's still part of me.
Exactly. And that's a great point, that she is always part of you everywhere. And it doesn't matter if you're on the ground or in the air, you are always connected to Gaia.
Right. Because I used to think these great people, they're going to the mountains in the Himalayas, they're going to Machu Picchu, and they're going to all these great places, and they're the worthy ones.
Right.
Right?
Imposter syndrome.
Pardon?
I said almost like an imposter syndrome.
Yes. It was like I'm left behind.
Right.
Because I can't get, or at this moment, I can't get to those places. Or at this moment, I'm living in the city where it's not that easy to get to grass or hug a tree. Right? So God's not going to see me, or the Creator's not going to see me, or Gaia isn't going to know I love her.
Right.
And I'm telling you that. Now I have a meditational bath every morning, and literally see my bathroom transform from being just a bathroom to just being this beautiful vortex of energy, you know. That's how I feel.
That's the beauty of creating your own ritual in that way, accidentally, but you found something that worked for you with what you had. And that's a great example of how you don't have to go do these retreats. You don't have to climb these mountains. You don't have to go to these specific places where these spiritual figureheads, we'll say, are saying is the pinnacle of that practice, right? You make it work for you. And that was one of the issues, kind of a segue that I had with religion personally growing up. I was raised Catholic, and then Christian after that, because I was not for the Catholic Church, but either. Anyways, a lot of that too a lot of the figureheads were just too much on a pedestal and said things had to be done perfectly, and that not everybody has access to all that, and that never sat well with me. And so, like you said, finding a way to connect to Gaia through the water. Like, most people don't think that using a shower or a bath as any means of spiritual ritual or personal ritual, that connection's not always made. And I love how you brought up living water, because I think that's super important as well. And one of the things I'd personally done with water that I started a few years ago was speaking into my water, the water that I would drink. And so I would put my hand over my whatever cup I was drinking out of, and I would say, I love you. And then I would drink that, or I would say, thank you. And to me, not only was I essentially blessing the water and giving thanks to Gaia, but I was speaking to my internal world, to all of my individual cells, and telling them that I loved them by giving them water. And so it was kind of a way to express love to myself while still learning to love myself, kind of like an inside out method, I guess. But water is such an important part of that. So thank you for bringing that up.
Oh, it's so much a very important part of my life. I mean, learning to uh, utilize every time. Sometimes I can have, if I don't a good cup of coffee in the morning, I'll drink it, and it'll get halfway gone, and I'll get focused on something, and then it's lukewarm.
Yep.
I'll pour it out. So I've had a half a cup. I drink some water behind it. Say I say thank you for everything I put in my body.
Yeah. Gratitude.
And drink some water. So I might make another cup, but I promised the Creator that I was always going to have water behind anything I drink, and that's even orange juice or anything.
That's a smart practice.
Hey, I'm going to have a chaser of water.
That's smart.
That kind of thing. Because it's living, and I actually started to do what you do, speaking to it, but it was only at night when I went to bed.
Yeah.
I didn't start speaking to it all the time, but now I just when I'm in a restaurant, folks think I'm just a little nuts. I'll just say to the waiter.
That's fine. They can think what they want.
Yeah. And they kind of look, did she just talk to her water? That.
And you know what? They'll knock it till they try it, and then they'll understand.
And yeah. And I think we're all allowed to think what we think.
Yep.
We are all allowed to have our perceptions, or as my friend Dwayne says, notions about what we think. So for some people, they think that, the water is poison. Well, if that's what you think, then the universe is going to say, your wish is my command. Literally, right? And because I think of it this way, I actually asked the divine, I said, what happens if one day we can't get to a Brita filter? Or you don't have that cleansing stuff you need to cleanse water, and you just have to turn on your tap and drink it. Are you going to give this transforming word? Thank you for being what I need. Thank you for quenching my thirst. Or are you going to look at this water and go, oh, this will kill me?
Well, that's the
I
personal.
can't drink anything else, but this is going to kill me. And I went, what do we do then? The divine just said, well, be concerned with what you say for you and let everybody else figure out what they need to figure out for them. And I understood the time by saying, stop judging them,
Yes.
right? Let them figure it out. If they don't have to, Sandra.
And that's a difficult place to be, not place to be, but it is a difficult thing to balance often, especially when you come from a place of wanting to help others so willingly, right? And I was listening to a podcast last night where this gentleman, Gene Ang, he leads the Arcturian Healing podcast, or Healing Method. He's a former neurobiologist who became an energy healer afterwards. And this woman was talking on the podcast about how her son had cancer. He was really adamant and interested about surgery and radiation. She was very hesitant because she believed other holistic methods might be more beneficial. And Gene, the gentleman leading it, he kind of talked it through some of the holistic stuff that may help support things, but then he goes, don't take that away from him. She goes, what do you mean? And he goes, oftentimes if somebody believes that the system or this method will be beneficial to them, it will. And it's not our place to take that away from them just because we think differently.
Right.
And I thought that was a great section to hear, especially coming from a doctor who then became an energy healer. And so to hear that perspective.
Yes, I mean, because he took the path.
Yes.
I mean, for me, I going on my journey, I heard it, right? A lot of people went through my radiation treatment. I got the DMs and some of my family as well, which they thought I was doing what's the other one? Not radiation,
chemotherapy.
But chemotherapy. And that's what they were focused on. I mean, I would get just bombarded in my DMs with all these different videos that people would send me of all this negative stuff, you know. And then finally I said to the divine, I said, I'm going to stop. And the divine says, no, I don't want you to stop. I want you to find the kindest words that you can say so that they understand that you got this.
Yeah.
I said, well, how about just that? I got this. Thank you. Thank you for wanting to give me information. I got this.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Right. And the thing was, I had already been in meditation and I already knew that I was going to do the radiation treatments. I already knew that I was going to be transforming this energy and speaking to this energy. Every time I got under the machine, the machine started, I started, vibrating with the energy saying, okay, I know what the creator of this instrument created it for, but I'm going to tell you what I want you to do in my body. I'm going to tell you where I want you to go. And any extra added stuff that's not for my highest and greatest good, I'm going to give you permission to go back where, from the energy that you came from. You came from the divine. Go there. It's okay. Right?
Transmutation at its best.
Yeah. This is what alchemy is. And the thing is, I understood that even if no one else understood it, I understood it.
And that's all that matters.
And that's all that matters. So everyone who says, well, I think this is going to help for me, is because they're putting their energy into that. That's why the doctors doing the test on the sugar pills, they give or what do they call those pills? The
placebos.
The placebo pills, right? And people got healed from this is because they they knew that the pill was going to do it for them.
Yep,
and then they allowed their body to open up and receive. right? So I mean, it was like, okay, just tell people,
Yeah.
right? Some people want to hear my healing about the big pharma. Nope,
Mhm.
that's not what my healing's about.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
if you want to be about that, okay, I can't stop you, but that's not what my healing is about. My healing is having a great support team
Mm-hmm.
from the surgery all the way through the radio, all the way to listening to, yes, exactly, mind over matter,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
and especially when we're talking about conscious mind over matter, okay? And just having, I had even the doctors, you know, they weren't, I said, look, I'm not going to fight you on this. I'm going to do the radiation treatment. I'm going to take there was, I don't think I'm taking tamoxifen. It's a different one that I'm taking, right? So that it monitors monitors the estrogen, right? Until I find the right holistic medicine that will monitor my estrogen levels, you know, on its own, I'm going to put my energy into that pill. I'm going to pick the pill up. It's a tiny little pill. I pick it up and I speak to it and I say, I love you. Thank you for what you do for my body. And I take it.
And I think a
Right?
lot of times people don't understand that it doesn't have to be this or that you can integrate both. You can start with what's established that you're being told will help conventionally while working towards finding holistic solutions, if they can be found. But it can be
Exactly.
both.
Well, for me, it is both until
Mhm.
I finally got my soursop
Mhm.
um, in its right dosage.
Right.
Now I'm, you know, taking my noni powder
Mhm.
and I'm getting that in the right dosage.
Yeah.
And, you know, bringing my blood pressure back into, because going through that, my blood pressure would go. So it was like, oh, beet powder. Because everybody was saying, eat beets, eat beets. Oh, I can't stand beets. And
Really?
beets, when I eat beets, even cooked beets, they give me this headache, right?
Mhm.
And one day I came out of meditation. I was scrolling through, I think I was scrolling through TikTok. There was this woman who was talking about beet powder,
Mhm.
beetroot powder. And I just went, maybe I can use that, you know. And she was showing you can put it in your shakes. You sprinkle it over like food or you know, that kind of thing. I said maybe I can try that. And literally, the first thing that comes up when when I go to Instagram to look for it, that comes up first. I didn't even type anything in. So this
Synchronicity.
is the vibration
Mhm.
saying, oh, this is the right track. You're in the right place. You're taking care of this is what you want for your body. Okay.
Mhm.
And I just decided I wasn't going to argue, Erin. I wasn't going to argue with any doctor.
Yeah.
I was going to listen. This is my opportunity to let them tell me how advanced their machine has become.
Mhm.
And they didn't talk about after side effects or anything. And they actually listen. Okay, I want to do this, and this, you
Mhm.
know. And it was beautiful. Why did I learn that? Because it was service to others.
Yeah.
Right? It's us talking about it right now, service
Mhm.
to others, so somebody else can say, "Oh, I can try that."
Exactly.
Right?
Living examples, living embodiment of the possibilities.
Yes, infinite possibilities,
Infinite.
infinite. Okay, here we go. As a female reverend,
Mhm.
and this is what I love, guys. The reason why I love when she was talking about, there was a TikTok that she was talking about why she became a reverend,
Mhm.
how she became a reverend, right? And what she went through to become a reverend. And what I went back to is in the Bible, they took out all the books that
Mhm.
were written by the women that walked with Jesus or Yeshua or
Yeah.
Jesus the Christ.
Exactly.
They took out all those books
Mhm.
and they said women can't be part of the church. They can't be ministers. They can't be this. They can't be that. Yes, there are ministers now that are women,
Mhm.
but it's not as, they're not long standing. They're just
Right.
becoming.
Mhm.
And I want you, Erin, to share that story, right? You carry the vibration of not just divine feminine, right? Not because it's, oh, I'm a woman, I got a breast, I got a vagina, I'm a woman, blah, blah, blah. But the
Energy of it.
divine energy,
Mhm.
that feminine energy, because we're all male, whether you're a male or whether you're a female, we all have divine male and or not divine masculine and divine feminine. We have the yin and we have the yang
Right.
in us. It's just decides which one you're expressing through.
Mhm.
So can you, within that path that often shapes the masculine energy, how do you honor the dance of yin and yang? The harmony between receptive wisdom and the radiant presence of the way you speak.
It's a great question, and it's funny because I became a reverend kind of as a joke at first. Like the what led me up to it was so I joined the military straight after high school. I was a reservist in the Air Force for a little over 6 years, and in basic training, one of my drill instructors was telling us a story about his life, how him and his neighbor were in this like sorry for swearing or whatever, but pissing contest for lack of a better phrase, but in a joking, playful way. And so my the drill instructor, he became an ordained minister because his neighbor had bought a plot of land in Scotland that gave him the title of Lord.
Oh, okay.
You can buy a 1 by 1 foot square of land in plot in Scotland and become a lord or a lady.
Okay.
And that's a whole other story because I did that too. And that's how I ended up becoming a reverend. You can go online. I'm actually ordained through the Universal Life Church.
Okay.
And
This
you,
is what I heard. Okay.
yes. And so the Universal Life Church, you can just go online. It takes less than half an hour to become ordained. And then what you do with that ordination is up to you. Most people get it when they want to officiate like a friend's wedding.
Mhm.
But within that title and your ordination, there's actually a lot of cool other things you can do with it, such as like I could offer marriage counseling. I could do baptisms and different rituals like that, as well as weddings and whatnot. So, in any case, the reason I chose the title Reverend in and of itself, because I didn't have to. I could have chosen priestess. I could have chosen minister. I could have chosen something non-masculine leaning.
Mhm.
For me, I present as such a feminine embodiment that Reverend was my balancing act. It
Ah,
was reclaiming that masculine aspect of a religious system
okay.
with the embodiment of the feminine. So I'm receiving the wisdom from the systems that have already been in play and combining it with that feminine energy and putting it out as this balanced force.
Okay.
But it was mostly to balance out my feminine and masculine energies through name.
Ah. See that end part. That's what because I think I don't know. I think when you were explaining that, it cut off.
May have.
Yeah. So I didn't get the last little bit. So it was like, oh, I like this. I like this. And it's balancing that masculine energy. I
Right.
like that, right? Um, what has been the most soul awakening initiation of your journey as a co-mother,
Mhm.
the right?
Mhm.
Now that I know how to pronounce it, um, how has that moment reshaped the way you show up in the world or in your relationships or in your service to others? the whole kit and caboodle. You know, I know that you probably said it, you know, I live so much life, Sandra. I don't even know where to start with that. Just give us a little bit.
No, absolutely. And it's actually all of my whole spiritual journey up to this point kind of reached a tipping point in February of last year. And so I'll kind of use that as my true springboard, if you will, because that's when I felt like I really took to heart that inner knowing of who I am and what my purpose is. Now, I'm not sure if your audience is familiar with Dolores Cannon, the woman Dolores Cannon. So for those who aren't aware, she was a hypnotherapist who pioneered quantum hypnosis healing technique. I sometimes get the hypnosis and healing mixed up, but fabulous woman. I've read many of her books. She specialized in past life regressions. So in February of last year, I had the opportunity for my own QHHT session. Yes, and on my TikTok, I put a couple short blurbs from that. It was an hour and a half long session, so I couldn't upload the whole thing, but I uploaded a couple snips that I thought were very important. But within that session, I was able to bring a list of questions for my subconscious, for my higher self. Now, I am also a very scientifically minded person. I kind of try to merge spirituality and science. So for me, being able to speak directly to my subconscious was the closest thing to talking to God, basically, without it being source.
Right.
The answers I received in that session are what has helped create my new foundation of confidence in myself and helped me understand authenticity, self-love, and the purpose behind those concepts.
Okay.
And so finding out that my purpose is to be a co-mother, essentially, and is to do and help usher humanity into a more balanced way of being has helped me stay focused and kind of wrap my head around why I'm here and help give me direction. And so I would say if I had to pick a specific time of when I realized what my role was, it would have been from that session in February, from that healing session.
Wow, that was probably a great session, right?
Oh my gosh. If anybody ever has the opportunity to partake in one of those, I highly recommend it.
Okay.
It was life-changing, honestly.
I love Dolores Cannon. Diane Cannon, her daughter, just represents her so well. I also, through Dolores Cannon, I also started reading a book. I'm not going to say it's my holy grail, but the moment I read it, there were so many things that began to make sense.
Yeah.
Because when you're raised in a religious background where the Bible is, quote, the truth, right? So in that truth, there was no place for dinosaurs. There was no place for the the extraterrestrials. There was no place for anything past the moon and the sun. Right? And when I started reading the raw materials, right?
Like the law of one material.
The law of one.
Love that.
Raw materials, right? So when I got to book 2, I got stalled because the terminology, the language was, and I would say to the divine, if you want me to finish these books, help me. I need understanding, right? And the divine said, gave me this energy that said it's on its way. So what happened was I was finishing up reading a different book on Instagram, and a young lady said, "What book is going to be next?" And I told her, I said, "Well, I haven't gotten." The divine hasn't given me anything, and that's usually I already had the book by now. And the young lady said, "Well, maybe after the divine if you'll read the Divine Design by
Okay.
Lori Ladd.
Mhm.
So I said, okay, you know, so I took it into meditation, and then I got this energy that said, it wasn't a yes or a no. And then that next morning, I went on Instagram, and there's the book. I just put in the title, the book, and guess what? The book is, they said, just in stock now. They only had so many, and they had a discount
That's incredible.
on my Amazon. So I went,
It's meant to be.
there it is, get the book.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
But the moment I started reading it, it helped me to understand not just a little bit more about the raw material, but it started to help me understand how I was going to help other people understand, other than the otherly world of self,
Mm-hmm.
that you're afraid, what you're afraid of. Let's break it down. You're
Mhm.
afraid of aliens.
Mhm.
Well, aliens is just another version of a world that the divine is seeking itself in,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So then you don't have to, for me, I was going, okay, well, I've never feared any of this stuff. And the divine says, well, that's because you've always been there naturally.
Yeah.
Other people aren't there where you are. I love sci-fi. And I said, well, sci-fi, you know, everybody's sci-fi isn't real and blah, blah, blah. And I go, but yeah, it is.
Right.
Right? It's an infinite possibility on a different scope, but yeah, it is. But the divine had to temper me because not everybody's there that way. And not everybody's going to see the book, Divine Design, like I saw it,
Right.
or like I felt it.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody's going to see the raw material or the law of one like I'm reading it now.
Right.
I read it on YouTube and Instagram and on a couple of other platforms with a co-host of mine, Marcus Crystalite, and we do on Wednesdays. We do that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we're finishing up the third book.
Okay.
Okay, but the Divine Design helped me fill in the gaps where Ra is talking about things in a margin of not breaking things down and how they went. The Divine Design said, well, this happened here and this happened here, and this is where you get your 4D beings, and this and both of those books just went.
Yeah.
They closed in on me, and then my brain went swoosh, like all I expanded throughout the whole universe, going, now that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Love that.
So
that happened to me too.
It did.
Oh, with books all the time. And I'm really bad about finishing books when I start reading them. But for that reason, because often the books will the puzzle pieces from one book will match up with another unrelated book. And so I've chalked it up to, I only needed to read that page or that part to make that connection, and I'll come back to it when I'm ready for the next part, and relieving that pressure, you know.
Yeah, it relieves that, you know, if I'm reading it for myself, right, you know, I'm like, oh, really? Oh, okay. You know, because there was, for me, I'm not, and anybody else in here who's, you know, read the Bible backwards and forwards, that's good. And that works for you, that's good. But for me, I read it, you know, as I was growing up, you know, maybe not in its entirety, but enough that gave me more questions than true answers. So I needed ways to fill in the gaps.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, you need bridge information.
Yeah. So as we're closing, do you have another question?
Yes, actually. And I love how you've brought up yin and yang a lot in this podcast, because that was actually one of my questions, is you honor those energies beautifully and reference them often. And I was wondering your perspective on non-dual practices or non-dual perspectives.
non-dual body practice, like it not being female, the female body version and the male body version.
Looking at things from more of the third outside version. So you have the male and female, and then you have the combination.
Well, that's what I believe. I believe that. Here's my thing. Okay. You might laugh, you might not. Everybody, if you don't want to hear the words, close your ears. I do not believe that it's about that yin and yang, or divine feminine and masculine, are about penis and vagina. And I just made that sound a little bit better, because I would usually I would just say dick and pussy. So
Gotcha.
you know, because mainly this is what I'm hearing a lot of when when they're talking about energy, and it's like they're dueling between each other. It's the divine feminine. We've been held down so long, and it's about, the divine feminine created everything, and the masculine needs to bow, and then the masculine is saying, well, we're the create, or we're the creative, and this kind of thing. And for me, it's we were born as beings that have both of these dualities in us, and they work for us so that we can make choices in life. And a lot of us, or a lot of women, can be in their masculine. I mean, I was for a long time. When I was divorced and raising my kids, I didn't know it then, but I was in my masculine, because I was, I had to play that role, and that divine masculine energy took precedent. It said protect, right. And then the love would come in, the loving and the caring, and the divine feminine would give off some shared responsibility. But it's not an either or. It's the energy has never warred with itself. Yet we, as male female, make that out to be what it is, especially in the spiritual community. Right. And look at it this way. Science says that biology says it takes a male and a female to make a baby. I don't deny it. Right. But it doesn't mean that just because the penis and the vagina make a connection, and make a baby, doesn't mean those same two people are going to be the best mother and father, or the best divine feminine and divine masculine to raise that child, right. So for me, it's like it's a dual purpose. For me, I believe that the divine knew exactly what it was doing. The creator knew exactly what it was doing, because the experience that we get to express, or that the divine gets to express through us, is using that energy to see itself everywhere.
Exactly.
Right. It's and to me, I can actually say my higher being picked the perfect year for me to be born in, 1957. Okay. I lived through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. My higher being got to get married. It got to have sex with a man, got to have babies. And then at this stage of my life, it said, okay, you like women, let's explore, right? And say nothing wrong with that,
right?
Because I don't think you've always been that way, but you went through this period to see the growth, to see to see everything explode on the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And the divine or the creator is saying, whoo, man, I've seen some shit.
Fact.
Right? You know, and then hear the divine in me say thank you.
Yeah.
Right? So the I did the segment on yin and yang simply because it's not about the body.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the energy. And the energy says, energy will always say to you, how do you want me to create?
Yeah.
And whether it's in, I think what we need to learn is that those energies don't fight each other; they merge with each other. They're they're waiting to allow them to merge and dance with each other.
Yes, I agree completely.
I hope I explained that right. I get passionate about that.
And I love that. And you did, you explained it beautifully. I think the way I worded it was not exactly how I meant to convey it, but you did answer it in that you explained how you don't look at it as this or that, and it is the true balancing of them. And to me, that's what the non-dual aspect is. You also kind of gave me a really cool new definition to the phrase non-dual, because you interpreted the word dual instead of two as confrontation, having male and feminine again. And I think that's a really great perspective to kind of reorient our minds around that phrase when it pertains to those energies.
Exactly. Because when you think of the word non-dual, right? And you spell it D-U-E-L, like, I you know,
I
let's
wrote
do
down
it.
I wrote down the word dual with a UA and a UE to compare the two vibrationally. And it is fascinating that they hold a different frequency.
Yes, they do. They hold a different frequency, you know, and it's kind of like but energy has never fought itself.
No.
It's matter of fact, it's allowed itself to expand.
Yeah.
What happens is the moment that we look at energy, energy takes on a physicality of how we look at it, or how we get to give it what type of volume.
Yeah, the meaning we put behind it.
Yeah. You know, so it's like, this divine feminine masculine. It's like, okay, but at the same time, I do understand the creator is always telling me everybody has to. They're at a point in their life where they're learning something,
right?
And it's okay that they play in that playground. It's kind of like having this great big playground, and everybody's playing in different areas. And some people are coming from the playground of politics, and they're going, "Oh, I'm so worn out," and they're going and they're coming to another spot, and somebody says, "Well, come and play over here for a little while," and you know, it gives them a different perspective of energy. So for me, it's with the divine masculine and divine feminine, it's kind of like the divine said, well, come over here and play in just the energy part. See if you get it that way.
Right.
But remember, just because if you do get it that way, it might take some time for other people to understand it the way you're about to teach it. Right. If it was a teachable moment, which it ended up being, because I did do that series, you know, the yin and yang. Matter of fact, doing that series helped me to understand how to pronounce it. I could pronounce yin, but I pronounced it yang.
A second ago, right?
Right. And then as I started to learn about it, you know, and started to do the episodes, I went, oh, it's yang. Oh, I get it.
A different frequency revealed itself.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And it's funny how that can evolve in that way.
Yeah. It's I watched videos today, and I have not watched. There's another video that you said, hey, I'm going to talk about this in my next video. And you had talked about, and this is just an extra question. You do not have to share if you're not ready to share. You did some tests, right? And you said the tests revealed what you already knew or confirmed, and that you were going to talk about it later. In that video yet?
I did. Yes, I did.
So I haven't seen it. Can you just share just a little bit of that before we go? Because it really, I don't know. I saw that first video. At the end of it, while you were sharing, I cried. It wasn't like tears of sorrow, but it was like
Resonance.
tears of you know, can you share just a little bit?
Absolutely. I've had a pretty extensive health history that I've talked a little bit about. So as that video pertained to a series of MRIs that I was getting done. I've been dealing with some increased pain over the past few years, and one of the ones I was dealing with is pain in my right hip. Now I have a history of a labral tear in my right hip, and the way my labral tear was is it's not on the ball and socket side, it's on the anterior side. So like it's on the part where my actual hip bone connects to my pelvis, and it's torn there. So I've been having increased pain in that area actually since about 90 days after my first surgery a couple years ago. And so I went into the MRI this time saying, hey, I'm having the same kind of pain. I've had this pain before. I know I'm in tune with my body. This is what I'm feeling. Something's wrong. And kind of getting pushed off by doctors. Doctors don't respond too well to being told that you're in pain. I've found out they care about functionality and not pain. And so long story short, it was confirmed that my labrum is torn again in my right hip. And found out I have arthritis in my right foot and ankle, and the cartilage in my right shoulder is thinning, which explains the pain I've been having there. Separately, I have herniated discs that are pushing on the left-hand side at the top and bottom of my spine. So all of these on the right-hand side kind of compound that. And so the video was just explaining that here's what was happening on the right side of my body, even though these doctors said you're probably fine. I had MRIs in the past 2 years, but none of them were with dye or contrast. And this one was, and that's where everything came up. So the doctors were like, oh, your MRIs are fine. No, you just didn't order the right tests to confirm what I've been telling you.
Right.
And so that's what it was. It was, you did your job as a doctor, but you didn't do the whole job. You didn't take the next step.
Right. Yeah. Because the fact that you said your right hip, and the reason why I went like that is because one morning about 4 months ago, I woke up. I couldn't move my right hip. I couldn't walk. I was in so much pain. And when literally, this is how the divine works. You know, it's I went in. They gave me a wheelchair, and they rolled me to, you know, do the all the tests and everything. And they said, you know, where's your pain level? And I put in my pain level. See, when you talk to a person whose pain level is, who can tolerate pain, and I have been tolerant a lot of pain, and then the pain will go away.
They don't understand.
And then all of a sudden it takes this thing where you can't walk on it, and you go, well, the pain is now a 24, not a 12, right? And it's like, I can't walk. So and I'm a Gemini, so I'm already saying, tell me what the fuck is wrong with me, you know, that kind of thing. So what they found out was my right hip is degenerative arthritis is setting in, you know, and it's mainly in the hip, which I'm very thankful for because it's not anywhere else. But the process of some of them was, well, it is what it is, once you've lost all that, the the uh, the membrane between the bone and the hip and it's just gone.
Yeah.
Well, and I listened to him. I said, okay, but I'm but okay. I said, because scientists have said the generative. They found out, scientists are saying that everywhere. It's like blowing their mind. The cells can regenerate and can, all this, and we're finding out all of this. Well, yeah, doctors, you're kind of a little slow and behind, but that's okay. We'll let you, now that you've told me what it is, I can go and do the alchemy on it. You tell me. They told me that when my knees would go straight up, one would go like this, right? And so the therapist said, well, once that happens, it won't go back.
Oh, you can fix that for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I go into, when I'm doing my meditative bath, I'm moving that hip, and I'm placing when the foot wants to go one way, I just go, no, you got to go back here.
Isn't it crazy being able to feel those little?
Yeah, it'll just tilt one way, and I'll go, no, I really love you, but come on back.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'll talk to my right side, and then I'll let my left side do what it needs to do, show it.
Yeah.
And then I'll go, see, that's how you can do it. And then do it that I went to physical therapy, and all they wanted to yank so hard on, pushing and saying, how does that feel? You should, it's like, no,
I feel it, but it's not good.
It's not good. And the more I would tell them it's not good, it's like, well, yeah, you're giving me exercises, but then, a week later, you're pushing on the same, and thinking that things should be automatically better. And that's, and then the divine said, well, Sandy, you got to bring you to the table. Right. So and then I'm sitting here going, someone else, her right hand, right? Yeah, herniated disc. Mine is on my L5. It's a bulging disc, and it slides out, and then I tell it to slide back in. I want to feel comfort. I want to walk. So I'm seeing that you're, whatever I've done to make you uncomfortable, I'm going to fix that. And I tell my, I tell my spine, you're supporting me. So I see you. I hear you. What are you trying to tell me? Did I sleep? Sometimes it's like, did I sleep wrong? Did I, tell me, let me know, right? To let our bodies, we can talk in our body.
And that's an underrated part of spirituality that actually I don't think is really discussed, is that you need to listen to your body. You can ask all these questions and do all these things, but unless you receive that answer, unless you're open to listening for that answer, you're not going to hear it. And then you're going to be stuck in limbo.
Yeah. Or just mad at every doctor you talk to, because they can't give you the answer that you want. And sometimes they don't know any better. They have so many barrages of tests that they can do, and they're stuck in their text that hasn't been updated yet. So they'll go back to the book that hasn't been updated for 15 years, and they'll say, oh, it's this. And you'll get upset, or not you, but others will get upset at doctors because they have to go back to their books. But yes, doctors have to continually stay in school, learning new ways to treat people, because new people are being born, number one, and the growth of people are changing. Not everybody is the same. We're all authentic.
Mm-hmm.
So you can treat Jane down the street, but Jane's body may not be like my body.
Exactly. It's not one size fits all.
No, just not one size fits all.
Mm-mm.
So I just want to thank you
Well,
for
thank
being
you.
part of my first podcast on YouTube and Facebook.
Excited.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for sticking with me through all the little quirks that were going on. And I'm not hearing myself
No.
reverb anymore. So thank you so very much. Would you like to share anything as we leave this space?
Let's see. Be patient with yourself. If there's anything I can say to anybody, is give yourself the grace and compassion that you wish was present in the world. Not give it to other people, give it to you first. And take everything in stride from there, and understand that you are human and that is okay.
Yes, I love that. It's perfectly fine being bring you to the table exactly the way you are.
Yeah.
And I'll use an example. When I was a little child, I remember being in church, and it was the first time that my mother let me sit with the other kids in the back row, right?
Gotcha.
And what I noticed was there was I only can assume that he was homeless, because he came in a torn t-shirt. He had some jeans, and he didn't have any shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember looking at him, and he gave me a smile. It was the biggest smile. It looked like the sun was smiling at me. And I smiled back, and I kind of waved, right? And then there was time, the minister was talking about, come as you are and blah, 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 the whole ministry. And then, people were getting up, that time where you get up. And it was a Baptist church. So it was about coming, hold on a second, coming to the Lord, right? So he got up to walk up front, and they stopped him because he didn't have a he had a torn. And my afterwards, they escorted him back to the seat, and then as people were leaving, the pastor came to him. I at first I thought, oh, how sweet. But what I overheard, and I don't know why the divine had me overhear this, is the next time the pastor or assistant pastor said, the next time you come in, you have to have shoes and you have to have a proper shirt. And that's where I said, come as you are.
Yeah.
Come as you are. There's no perfect. There's no come I hear people saying all the time, come politically correct. Well, who are you to tell somebody to come politically correct when you probably didn't come correct to somebody else that had to move through you and the things that you went through? So just step up to the plate as you are, and take the energy to grow and to expand and to become the next version of you, right? The next version of you.
I was just gonna say, when that's the focus, the people who are accepting of you coming as you are will reveal themselves.
Yes. Just one second. Okay. I'm sorry, I had to answer that text. My daughter is waiting for me.
Oh, I won't keep you. This has been great.
This has been great. And you know what? I feel that this will vibrate into a episode 2.
I would love that. I feel like there's so much more we can go down about all of this.
About all of this. I feel that we have just, you know, that we're waiting on the top. We haven't even deep dived yet.
Yeah, we're at that 0 point, that expansion point.
Yeah. So I tell you what, we'll get together and we'll brainstorm for the next one.
Most definitely.
And I would love for it to be sooner than later.
Sure, definitely. Yeah.
So, yeah. So everyone, I want you to grow. I want you to expand. I want you to become the best version of you. And then wash, rinse, and repeat.
Yes.
Take what resonates for you, leave what doesn't, and just enjoy life. You know, enjoy the journey, actually. Thank you for being part of this first podcast on YouTube and Facebook.
Thank you for having me. I'm grateful.
Pardon?
Oh, I said thank you for having me. I'm grateful to have been invited, especially for this push off, the send off, if you will.
This push off, yes. So understand, guys, it's not going to be on Instagram anymore. So it will be next Friday, same Facebook place, same YouTube place, same time. All righty. So thank you so much.
Thank you.